All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever gotten that paycheck, you feel good for a second, you blink, and then boom. It's the end of the month, and you're just staring at your account wondering, what happened? If that sounds familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Yeah, that question, where did all the money go? It's the one that keeps so many of us up at night, right? You work hard, you get paid, but the money just seems to vanish. It feels like there's some invisible monster in your closet just eating your cash. So many of us get trapped by this myth that our financial problems will be solved by some big, dramatic event. Like if I just win the lottery or get that one secret stock tip, everything will be fine. But here's the real truth, the thing that actually works. It's the tiny, consistent, almost boring habits that quietly build your future day after day. And I really need you to hear this because it is so important. If you struggle with money, it is not your fault. You are not bad with money. You're not lazy. The real problem is that nobody ever taught us how any of this actually works. We're just thrown into the deep end and expected to figure it all out. All right, so let's start building a new foundation from the ground up. The very first step to getting back in control is simple. We have to make the invisible visible. Everything else we talk about today rests on this one core idea. So, habit number 1 is all about money awareness. Look, I know what happens. Most people hear the word budgeting and their eyes just glaze over. They picture these insane spreadsheets, tracking every single penny, and they just give up before they even start. We are not doing that. This habit is way simpler. You're going to track just one number every single day. How much you spent in total. That's it. No categories, no spreadsheets. So why does this tiny thing work so well? It's simple. Awareness always comes before control. Right now, your money is probably leaking out in a dozen invisible ways. A coffee here, a subscription there. By tracking just that one number, you're forcing that invisible spending out into the open. You're making it real. You just can't fix a leak you can't see. Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes becoming aware of your spending can bring on a whole lot of anxiety. And that's where our next habit comes in. We're actually going to jump ahead to habit 5 for a second because it pairs so well with this one. The habit is this. Check your bank account every day, but with a very specific mindset. You're just checking the weather. Think about that for a second. It's a huge psychological shift. You don't get angry at the weather forecast, right? You don't feel ashamed if it says it's going to rain. You just look at it, you see what it is, and you plan for it. You grab an umbrella. This habit does the same thing for your money. It strips away the shame and the anger and replaces it with calm, neutral observation. Okay, so now we have our foundation of calm awareness. We can see our money without freaking out. Now we get to start building our new financial identity. This is where we go from being a passive reactor, someone money just happens to a confident architect of our own future. And that starts with habit number 2, learning the language of money. And we're going to start with the most powerful word of all, asset. An asset is just something that puts money into your pocket. Simple as that. Think of a rental property that pays you every month, or even a side hustle that brings in extra cash. And on the flip side, you have its opposite, a liability. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That monthly car payment? Liability. That credit card interest? Big liability. Just getting this one simple difference in your head can completely change how you see the world. So the actual habit is ridiculously simple. Learn one new money word a day. Just one. Do that for a year and you'll know more about finance than 99% of people. But here's the secret. This isn't really about becoming a walking dictionary. It's about building confidence. It's about getting to a place where you're not afraid to have those important conversations about your future anymore. Next up, habit number 3, and this one is a game changer. Pay yourself first. See, most of us do it completely backwards. We get paid, we pay all our bills, we spend on stuff, and then we hope there's something left over to save. This habit flips that whole script upside down. The second that money hits your account, the very first move you make is to save. And listen, even if it's just 1% of your paycheck, seriously, the amount doesn't matter at first. This isn't about getting rich tomorrow. This is about identity transformation. Every single time you move that money to savings first, you're casting a vote for future you. You are proving to yourself with your actions that you are a person who saves. You're becoming a saver. All right, so we've built our awareness. We're building our new identity. Now it's time to install an active control system. Think of these next two habits as your practical, boots-on-the-ground defenses against the two biggest enemies of your financial plan: impulse and waste. Habit number 4 is the 24-hour rule. For any purchase that isn't a total necessity, groceries, gas, you have to wait 24 hours before you buy it. No exceptions. Why? Because that initial urge to buy, that "I need this right now" feeling, that's pure emotion. The 24-hour pause is like a cool-down period. It lets that emotion fade away, and it gives your logical brain a chance to show up and ask, "Hey, do we really need this?" You will be shocked at how often the answer is no. Okay, now for habit number 7, the weekly audit. All this is once a week, maybe Sunday night with a cup of tea, you sit down and ask yourself one simple question: where did my money actually go this week? And the key here is your mindset. You're not a judge ready to hand down a sentence. You're a detective, just curiously looking for clues. And here's a super simple framework for that investigation. You're just looking for 2 types of spending. First, value-add spending. This is the good stuff, money that created an awesome memory or solved a real problem. And then there's the forgotten spending, the impulse buys you already regret or that subscription you haven't used in months. Again, this isn't about shame. It's about gathering data so you can aim your money at more of the good stuff and less of the waste. All right, time to zoom out. We've been looking at the small, daily actions. Now we're going to connect all of these habits to the big picture, your long-term vision for your life. And this brings us to habit number 8, think long-term. This is a mental exercise. Whenever you're about to make a decision, I want you to mentally time travel. Ask yourself 2 things. First, what will this purchase cost my future self in 5 years if I had invested that money instead? And second, what will this tiny habit, like saving just 1%, give me in 10 years? This habit literally connects the person you are today to the person you want to become. And this really brings us to the ultimate truth of this entire process. After all the habits and all the numbers, what are we really trying to build here? It's not just about a bigger bank account. It's about self-trust. Think about it. That deep, quiet confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. It doesn't just show up one day. It's built. It's built brick by brick with the tiny promises you keep to yourself. Every single time you track your spending, every time you wait 24 hours, every time you pay yourself first, you are laying another brick in the foundation of your own self-trust. So I'm going to leave you with one final question to really think about. Be honest with yourself. If nothing changed, if your financial habits stayed exactly the way they are right now for the next 5 years, would you be happy with where you end up? If that answer is no, then the evolution starts right now. Look, don't try to do all 8 of these at once. That's a recipe for burnout. Just pick one, the one that feels easiest, the one that resonates the most. Start there. Start today, because your future self is watching, and they are really, really hoping you choose to begin.